Hi everyone, welcome to Netgate Chemistry. So in the previous video we discussed about the voids in FCC that were tetrahedral and octahedral voids, and we also discussed about the relation between radius and the edge length. So today we are first going to discuss how these tetrahedral and octahedral voids are formed. Basically we are going to discuss which atoms come in contact basically so as to form these voids. I'm going to make a unit cell. Suppose this is an FCC unit cell. Here atoms are present at all the 8 corners and also the face centers. I am not showing them because I just want to show only those atoms which are responsible for the formation of your tetrahedral voids. Okay, so suppose tetrahedral void is present here. If this is your body diagonal, then it will be present at 1/4 position from this atom here. So which 4 atoms will be there which will be responsible for its formation? Basically want to discuss that. So first atom will be the atom present at this corner, which is at the upper and the back side of this unit cell. Okay, first will be this one. This is first. Second will be the atom which is present at the face center of this left face. Okay, this will be the second one. Third will be the atom which is present at the face center of this upper face. This will be the third. And fourth will be the atom which is present at the face center of this back face. So this way this tetrahedral void will be formed. We can look at one more tetrahedral void. Okay, just like this. Suppose this is your body diagonal again at 1/4 position. This is your tetrahedral void. So this will be formed by first this atom. Second will be the face center of this lower face. Okay. Third will be the face center of this right face. And fourth will be the face center of this front face. Just like this, 8 tetrahedral voids will be present. Okay, so I hope tetrahedral voids are clear now. So now we'll move on to the octahedral voids. These are of two types. First type is when it is present at the body center. So again, suppose this is one unit cell. And an octahedral void is present at this body center. So which atoms will be responsible for their formation? First will be the atom which is present at the face center of this left face. Okay. Second will be the atom which is present at the face center of this front face. Third will be atom which is present at the face center of this right face. Fourth will be the atom which is present at the face center of this back face. These are 4. Fifth will be the atom which is present at the face center of this upper face. And sixth will be the atom which is present at the face center of this lower face. So basically this octahedral void which is present at the body center, it is formed when 6 atoms which are present at the face centers, at each face centers they come in contact. Second type of octahedral void which is formed at the edge centers. For that again consider a unit cell. suppose this is one unit cell. So now suppose this is the center of the edge. So here one octahedral void will be present. So which atoms will be responsible? We want to see that. First will be this atom which is present at the bottom and front face. Okay. Second, which is present at the bottom and the back face. 2. Third will be the atom which is present at the face center of this right face. Fourth will be the atom which is present on the right face of the neighboring unit cell. Next will be the atom which is present at the face center of this bottom face. And last will be the atom which is present at the face center of this bottom face of the adjacent unit cell. So this way octahedral void at the edge center is formed. So I hope formation of voids is clear now. Now we'll move on to the next topic. Next topic is packing fraction of various unit cells. For that you have to remember some of the formulas. First is that packing fraction is equals to volume occupied by particles per unit cell divided by volume of unit cell. Here your particles could be your atoms, your molecules, or it could be the ions. If you want to take out packing fraction in percentage, then you just have to multiply packing fraction into 100. Next formula is your volume occupied by particles per unit cell is equals to number of particles per unit cell into volume occupied by one particle. So for a unit cell we are considering A to be the, you can say, let A be the unit cell parameter or the edge length, you can say. So formula of packing fraction will be packing fraction is equals to Z into 4 by 3 pi r cube upon A into A into A. Here Z is your number of atoms present in per unit cell. 4 by 3 pi r cube is your formula for volume of sphere, and here we are considering our molecules, atoms or ions to be spherical in nature, and A is our edge length or the unit cell parameter. So this is going to be the formula for calculating packing fraction. Okay. So first we are going to discuss the case of simple cubic unit cell. In case of simple cubic unit cell, we have derived a formula A is equals to 2R. And for simple cubic unit cell, your Z is equals to 1. That also we have calculated, that is number of atoms present per unit cell. So now we want to calculate percentage packing fraction. See, the formula of packing fraction is this, and if we want to calculate percentage packing fraction, then we just have to multiply this one by 100. So now packing fraction in case of simple cubic unit cell will be equal to Z is equals to 1, so 1 into 4 by 3 pi r cube. For r, from here we can calculate the value of r. R will be equals to A by 2, so pi r cube, that is A by 2 cube. Instead of r we are writing A by 2, and below we have A cube. So after solving this you will get 52.4%. I hope you know the value of pi, that is 22 by 7 or 3.1. 0.14. Next is second case of FCC, in which we have calculated R is equals to root 2a by 4, and in case of FCC the value of Z was 4. So if we want to calculate, here into 100 also there, for calculating percentage packing fraction, we'll have Z is 4 into 4 by 3 into pi into, instead of R we are going to write root 2a by 4 R cube upon a cube. If you solve this, you will get 74%. Third is the case of BCC. In case of BCC, we have R is equals to root 3a by 4 and the value of Z is 2. So percentage packing fraction comes out to be Z is equals to 2 into 4 by 3 into pi into R. Instead of R we're gonna write root 3 by 4 a cube upon a cube. If you solve this, you will get 68%. So these are the percentages of packing fraction in case of SCC, FCC and BCC. So this way you can also calculate the percentage packing fractions of end CC, edge CC and DCC. So I'll make a small table in which I'll write down all the values only. So serial number, unit cell and percentage packing fraction. First is your simple cubic unit cell, 52%. Second is your BCC, 68%. Third is FCC, 74%. Now if you want the value of edge CC, then it is 26. It is almost the half of this one. Okay. Fifth is your end CC. It is the half of FCC. It is 37%. Okay. Next is your DCC, diamond cubic unit cell. It is the half of BCC. So it comes out to be 68 half, 34%. So this is a small table of packing fraction of various unit cells. It's going to be easier for you to remember like that. So the almost half the value of SCC is of edge CC, half of FCC is of end CC, and half of BCC is your DCC. Okay. So the next topic is how to find the density of a cubic crystal. So for that we have a formula, that is density is equals to mass of unit cell divided by the volume of unit cell. Because we know the formula, density is equals to mass upon volume. Okay, so density of unit cell will be equal to mass of unit cell upon volume of unit cell. So now we want to find out the mass of unit cell, which is going to be equal to the number of particles per unit cell multiply mass of single particle. right? So now if we want to frame the formula of density using this information, then we can write density will be equals to mass of unit cell is equals to number of particles per unit cell represented by Z into mass of single particle. Suppose mass of single particle is small m, upon the volume of cube, that will be equal to a cube. So now we know that we know the value of molar mass always. Whenever we say that mass of oxygen is this much, for example, mass of carbon is 14, but what are its units which we know? That is gram per mole. That is, this is the mass of 1 mole of carbon. That is, 1 mole of carbon will be having mass of 14 gram. Okay, but here we want the mass of one particle. So 1 mole means Avogadro number. 1 mole always means Avogadro number. Avogadro number is 6.022 into 10 raised to power 23 atoms or molecules or ions, in this case atoms. So if we want to see what is the relation between this small m and this capital M, which we know for every atom, so that comes out to be m divided by Na is equals to small m. The mass of single particle will be what? The mass of Avogadro number of particles divided by the Avogadro number. So small m will be equal to capital M upon Na. Here m is mass of single particle. If we want the mass of single particle, then in terms of unit, if we want to see it, the mass of one particle will be in gram. Here mass of Avogadro number of particles, that will be in gram per mole. Okay, and unit of Avogadro number will be equal to mole. So what happens? This one and this one cancels out and we get gram is equals to gram. So what happens? To find out mass of one particle, we have to divide the molar mass by the Avogadro number. So in simple language, we can say that density is equals to Z into molar mass of particle. This is molar mass of particle A, or you can simply say molar mass m upon Na, that is your Avogadro number, into a cube. This is the formula of density for a cubic crystal. So I think that's it for this video. I'm going to upload all the videos on solid state which will be required by your CSIR, NET or GATE exams. So stay tuned for more videos. Okay, thank you so much for watching.